Am I doing enough? Is that the thought that's keeping you up at night? Are you having sleepless nights? Because I suspect some of you are. I've been having a few conversations with different people over the last few days, and there is so much anxiety, despair, grief in the air right now. And it makes sense. Many of us are reeling from a lot of the eclipse revelations that happened this past September. We are in the latter part of the year, which always brings up feelings for people. People begin to look at their whole year, what they haven't done, what they wanted to do, the failed quote unquote New Year's resolutions. And there's just been a lot that's happened in 2025. And we have Neptune in Pisces, we have Saturn in Pisces. And I feel like combined, they're showing us where we haven't been real, where we had disillusionments, illusions. And for many of us who live in the United States in particular, a lot of revelations are coming to light about what's not working in our country, in our government. And for many people, it feels like it happened overnight. But the harsh truth of the matter is, this day has been coming for a long time. There has been a lot of corruption on both sides for the last 20, 30 years. And a lot of that contributed to what we're seeing unfold right now. That is the harsh reality that we are now grappling with and we need to face. And what I love about astrology is that it reminds us that we have access to inner resources to help us navigate through these challenges. We have this upcoming full moon in Taurus. And normally I would be excited about a full moon in Taurus. The moon is exalted in Taurus. Taurus is an earth sign. It's about being grounded. It's about being connected to our physical comfort. And so normally I would expect a full moon in Taurus to be a softer experience compared to other full moons. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be the case. But there is good news in that because full moons are about releasing, letting go. It can be about culminations as well. We'll probably have more things revealed to us around that November 5th full moon in Taurus. Things that will probably rock the collective is my intuition. But I think if we can lean on the qualities of Taurus, that slow and steady approach to life, that reconnecting to the earth, so reconnecting to nature, whatever that looks like for you, or our physical comforts, the warm blanket, cooking a nourishing meal. I think if we can set aside time around that full moon to do those things, we will be setting ourselves up to process the grief, the rage that will most likely come to the surface around the time of this upcoming full moon. It might even happen 3 days before or on the full moon itself. And if you're feeling the grief now, the anxiety, create a safe space to feel it, to process it. Connect with your friends who you can process these feelings with. Go to the therapist, the healers, the nurturers. Do the body work that you need to do, the energy work. Take a run, go to the gym, work it out physically as well. Because Taurus is really good at that. It's good at getting back into what physically connects us to ourselves, our bodies, our life, the earth. And it helps us move through those really intense feelings. And my intuition is that this full moon in Taurus is inviting us to do that, to set up a safety and a space to process the really big feelings. Many of you may be experiencing a tsunami of feelings. And that also makes sense because we are also in Scorpio season. So we are being asked to face our fears, to really do that deep shadow work. And I think if we do that, We're going to set ourselves up to be able to move through the end of the year in a space that's more resilient and more powerful, where we get to have a sense of our own personal empowerment. And I love that this full moon is actually happening to a few days before Mercury goes retrograde. It's going to be retrograde from November 9th through November 29th. So we're in that pre-shadow period. So this is the time to begin cleaning up what needs to be cleaned up. So also if you have personal relationships that are giving you really big feelings, intense anger, intense grief, this might be the time to begin having some of those conversations before the full moon, because most likely around the full moon, those conflicts, those disagreements will probably become more intense. And they'll definitely become more intense once Mercury is retrograde in Sagittarius. Mercury is not comfortable in Sagittarius. Um, and what happens even when Mercury is direct in Sagittarius, there can be miscommunications. The wires can get crossed because people are more emotional. They're more high strung sometimes. And so sometimes the message comes out in a way much harsher than you mean. And that's only going to be intensified when Mercury is going through its retrograde. So use this time leading up to the full moon and before the full moon to get clear about what you're feeling. And if at all, you can find a safe way to process it. And especially around the full moon itself, if you can clear your calendar, give yourself some space to just feel. This full moon is asking us to be in our feelings, to not run away from it, to not numb it, to not push it down. Because if we can ride those waves of grief, those waves of anger, that will probably be coming to the surface. If we can find a way to healthily channel that, transmute it, we'll be stronger emotionally. We'll be developing our muscle of resilience because we're going to need that as the rest of the year unfolds and even into 2026 as the astrology intensifies. You know, many astrologers are talking about the Saturn and Neptune conjunction that's going to be happening February 2026. We're going to be moving towards that 0 point in Aries, where we're going to have a new cycle begin in February. And that's also going to be the beginning of a new eclipse series, that Aquarius Leo axis. So February is going to be a big turning point. No one knows exactly what's going to happen, but just astrologically speaking, it's clear that we're going to be experiencing a major change in the collective in February 2026. And so let's begin developing that muscle of resilience now. Let's set up our structures, our foundations to be stronger emotionally, mentally, physically, emotionally. Find the support system that you need if you don't have that right now. You know, find the therapist if you need the therapist. Find the energy healers, the astrologers you want to work with. Um, but again, as always, I feel like this upcoming full moon in Taurus is yet another reminder to be kind to ourselves and to give ourselves what we need. And let's really lean into those Taurus qualities of moving through things methodically, slowly, steady, and do what we need to do to nurture ourselves. You know, cook the healthy meals, take the long walk, you know, break out the warm, fuzzy blankets if you're in a cold environment. You know, set yourself up to be supported, to be emotionally safe, to feel held by the universe. Because at the end of the day, we always are. I believe the divine is always guiding us, supporting us, and training us for our next opportunities, not testing us. But our part is to be willing and to be open and to be willing to face the really scary things, especially our feelings that freak us out. Because if we can process those feelings, we can calm down and we can be more resilient. We can learn to take the next step. that's going to lead us to the next step. And then that's how solutions are born. This is how we begin to solve our personal problems and our bigger problems. And also, as a solopreneur, or whatever you're doing in your life, do not take it for granted. Small things add up. And even if you're only helping one other person, whatever problem your business solves, the volunteer work that you do not discount how powerful that is. I was comforting a friend who was upset about everything that's happening in the world today, and she volunteers for a youth group. And I reminded her that she has no idea the impact she's having with that volunteer work. She has no idea that one child is probably really being seriously impacted by just her mere presence, her support of them. And I shared with her how when I was going through my own challenges as a teenager, my brother was schizophrenic and there was a lot of drama in our household around that. And I only told one other adult about that outside of my family, a high school guidance counselor. And this woman, she was like my first therapist. She really let me fall apart every week, and I needed that. And I also had a youth leader who didn't know anything about my family life, but obviously knew that I needed some emotional support. And she consistently poured into me. She continually reflected back to me my potential and her belief in my ability to do anything. And I needed both of those women in my life at that time. I needed one woman who constantly mirrored back to me my ability to shine in the world. And I needed this other woman to allow me to fall apart. And the two of them together helped me find my own inner light. So you never know the impact that you have on one person, and it ripples out. The one lesson I gained from the pandemic is that we are all connected energetically, that we all impact each other on a global scale, even if we don't necessarily see the results of that. So, whoever you're helping, whoever you're supporting, whatever your business does to serve others, whatever you do in your personal life to help another, it ripples out into the collective. So, you being you living your life is enough. You are enough, and you are doing enough. So, remember that. I love you. I'm rooting for you. Take care of yourself. Easefully yours, Darice.